Today I'm going to share my top 5 favorite places to visit in Vietnam. My name is Alex and I've been living in Vietnam for 10 years now, so I've seen a lot of the country, and Vietnam is a beautiful country, so it's really difficult to choose the top 5 places, and this might change from time to time for me, but right now these are 5 of my top favorites. So if you're thinking of moving to Vietnam to teach English and want to know the best places to travel to while you're living here, or if you're just coming here on a vacation, let's get into the top 5 places. Number 5 is Ninh Binh. Now Ninh Binh has exploded in popularity in the last few years, so it is quite busy when you go out to Ninh Binh. When I first went there, it was quite soon after I'd moved to Vietnam. I was living in Hanoi and I took a trip down there and it was very quiet and empty. Nowadays it is going to be more busy, but I went back recently and it is still just as beautiful, and now there's different options of where you can stay and you can still experience all the best things that Ninh Binh has to offer. I'd recommend going on the boat ride down the river. It's absolutely stunning. The river winds through the big limestone cliffs, and along the route you can stop at different ancient buildings. And the history in Ninh Binh is fascinating. There's history that goes back thousands of years because Ninh Binh was actually the capital of Vietnam at one point, around 2,000 years ago, I believe. So you can go to the Hoa Lu ancient capital, and there are also lots of pagodas you can go visit, as well as climbing up the mountain with the dragon at the top of, which has a stunning view of the whole of Ninh Binh. You can also go to Bai Dinh, which I believe is the biggest pagoda complex in Vietnam. It's huge. You can spend a whole day walking around and seeing everything there. So overall, Ninh Binh is a fantastic place to visit. Highly recommend it. Number 4 is Halong Bay. Now obviously Halong Bay is really popular. Everybody knows about it when they talk about places to visit in Vietnam. And this was actually a place I avoided visiting for quite a long time, because when I first moved to Vietnam, I wanted to avoid all the tourist destinations and I did a lot of off the beaten track kind of places. So it was only later on in my time in Vietnam when I actually went to Halong Bay for the first time. And when I finally did go, it was worth the hype. Halong Bay has the limestone cliffs in the ocean, so the best way to see Halong Bay is to do a cruise. And there are dozens, if not hundreds, of different boats that you can take. And I believe they range from the low end to super luxury, as well as some party boats, day cruises, and overnight cruises. The cruise that we did was about $150 per person for a night, and we actually only did the 2-day 1-night option, which I thought would be maybe not enough time, but it was actually a good amount of time to see all the beauty of Halong Bay and experience the cruise. But of course you can stay longer than that. And while definitely more expensive than many things you can do in Vietnam, I do think it is worth checking it out just for the experience, because it is a once in a lifetime kind of thing to do. Number 3 is Ho Chi Minh. Now this is one that I was not sure if I'd put on here, but I've actually been going there more often lately. And I think one of the big reasons is that it's so convenient to go there and get a great beach experience. It's less than 2 hours drive from Ho Chi Minh City. So if you're living in Ho Chi Minh City or you're visiting Ho Chi Minh City, you can just pop down to Ho Chi Minh and stay on the beach. It's the closest nice beach from Ho Chi Minh City, and there are many resorts along the coast. So if you want to get away for a weekend trip or a few days, it really is a great spot to head down to. And there's everything from cheap hostels to the 5-star resorts on the beach and everything in between. So it's just a very convenient beach holiday, which you can get to very quickly. The beaches are really nice. I think they're better than the beaches in Vung Tau, which is less than an hour away and is more of a city. So if you do want a bit more of a city and things to do, then you can go to Vung Tau. But the beaches aren't quite as nice as Ho Chi Minh. You can get some great seafood, stay in a resort right by the beach, and get a great beachside experience with not a lot of travel time. And then number 2 is Bun Giok Waterfall, which is right on the China-Vietnam border in the north of Vietnam. The waterfall itself is beautiful with lots of different levels, and the surrounding nature and scenery is also really beautiful. There's some caves in the area which you can explore. I also liked how it was a bit of a bizarre experience because there's tourists from China and tourists from Vietnam sort of looking at each other across the river and even mingling in the different boats on the river. And then at night, the China side lights up with a huge light display. So there almost feels like a little bit of competition there between the two sides. When I was there, I stayed at a nice little homestay where they played traditional music around the fire, served some delicious Vietnamese home-cooked meals. So I think this is a more out-of-the-way, authentic experience that you can have in Vietnam that might not be quite as popular as some of the other tourist destinations. So if you want something a little bit more quiet, then you could try this out. And then number 1 is Ha Giang and doing the Ha Giang Loop motorcycle trip. I think while other destinations on this list might change, I think Ha Giang is going to take the number 1 spot for the foreseeable future for me. Ha Giang is in the far north of Vietnam, and there's a well-known loop that you can do on a motorcycle if you ride a motorcycle, or you can go on an easy rider where someone will take you around on the loop on a tour. Either way, it's a route that you can do in a few days or take longer if you want, which has the most stunning scenery in Vietnam. The amounts of diverse scenery that you can see in just a few days is massive. It varies quite a lot from a massive canyon to hills with rice paddies. So for the entire trip, you'll have stunning scenery, and you can stay at lots of little homestays along the way, which also have amazing food, are really cute, some of which are nestled in the mountains. And you can learn about the ethnic minorities that live in the north of Vietnam. You'll see people from these different ethnic minorities wearing colorful outfits. There's one road that's optional, you don't have to go on it, that is about this wide at one point, which you're driving along the side of the mountain, which is terrifying but exhilarating. So if you want to do something adventurous, fun, exciting, and absolutely beautiful, then the Ha Giang Loop is my top recommendation. So those are my top 5 favorite places to visit in Vietnam at the moment. If you're interested in moving to Vietnam to teach English here so that you can live here and travel to all of these beautiful destinations, then you can head over to ninjateacher.com, just click the link below and we'll help you out with the entire process of getting started teaching in Vietnam. If you'd like to watch more videos about the locations I've mentioned, I have several full videos on a few of the spots. So you can click the link here to watch the Ha Giang Loop video, and make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more videos about teaching English and life in Vietnam. Speak to you soon. Peace.